So we want to check in with Chief Meteorologist Tim Deegan with the latest from the 5 o'clock advisory. Tim.
All right, thank you, Anthony. Well, the hurricane has made the turn. If you remember over the last couple of days, the big wondering, and one of the reasons there's been a variation on just where this hurricane would make landfall, is we were wondering when would it make that turn to the northwest. And some of the models turned it a little too quickly, but now it is making the turn. That is from the west-northwest to almost due north. And between now and tomorrow morning, it will begin to accelerate and beeline toward the Big Bend area, the northeast Gulf Coast. Still a Category 1, but intensifying, but notice now almost moving due north. Here is the new cone. It has just come in. And what has been increasingly better news for us, we're still going to be hit hard, becomes really bad news for our folks, especially in the Big Bend, and think Tallahassee. This hurricane is now forecast to be a Cat 4 as it makes landfall just south of Tallahassee. If this forecast verifies, this will be one of the worst hurricanes Tallahassee has ever been hit by. Again, still will be impacting us, but just those slight adjustments over the last 36 hours is, again, relatively speaking, some slightly better news, especially for you folks out to the west that are under hurricane warnings. Again, most of us here on the First Coast, we're under tropical storm warnings. See this line here? That's I-75. For those of you with loved ones in Gainesville, all of Columbia County and Clinch County, you folks in Waycross and Ware County, you're technically under a tropical storm warning, but you probably have some hurricane force gust. The hurricane will continue to accelerate and continue to intensify, but because it's now making the turn, for most of us in the Jacksonville metropolitan area, the forecast that we've been giving you, you can pretty much lock in. We're getting increasing confidence that's what we're going to have. As far as showers and thunderstorms beginning to increase, especially from Putnam County, but notice where those heaviest thunderstorms are, out toward Columbia County, where you're under a hurricane warning, and Ross is going to talk more about you folks out west who will catch it worse.
Yeah, Tim, things going to be much worse further westward, but the wind field across the entire storm is just going to be so large that although the eye is going to be several hundred miles to the west of us, we're still going to see wind gusts 40 to 60 miles per hour here in Jacksonville. But for areas like Tim mentioned, Tallahassee, the whole way down to Perry, they could see wind gusts in excess of 110 miles per hour, as you just heard there, now forecasted to make landfall as a Category 4 storm. Slightly further eastward there along I-10 in Columbia County, Lake City could see at least wind gusts of 70 to 75, but we do think they could easily reach 80 to 90 mile per hour wind gusts as the storm moves on shore. Waycross as well. Wind gusts pushing closer to about that 70 to 75 mile per hour mark. So let's break it down here for you, county by county, Baker, Union, Bradford, and Columbia counties. Worst of the storm for you is going to be tomorrow night between 6 p.m. and midnight. Again, we had just mentioned those wind gusts really going to pick up after sunset as the storm moves on shore. Gusts upwards of 90. Flying debris, definitely prepare for some power outages out there. For our southeast Georgia counties, Ware, Charlton, Brantley, Pierce, slightly lower, but still the worst of the storm going to be coming long after sunset from pretty much midnight up until about 5 a.m. And we're going to break it down more in full detail across the rest of the First Coast here for you coming up.
All right, thank you, Ross and Tim. And remember, you can take our most accurate forecast with you on the go by downloading the First Coast News app for real-time alerts, watches, and warnings. The app is free for Apple and Android devices.